Hey everyone, good day and welcome to this episode of Let's Talk Networking. I'm Terilee Harrison, and as you know, I am passionate about helping coaches, consultants, and solopreneurs be able to network in the most dynamic and lucrative way. Joined with me today is the amazing Kim Wallis. He is from the greater Melbourne area. Welcome, Kim.
Thanks, Terilee. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me today. It's awesome to be here.
It is wonderful to have you here. Let me introduce Kim a little more formally for you. Kim is with Higher Ranking and he loves helping people succeed. He's a lead generator. Oh my goodness, let me say it right. Lead generator, revenue maker. He does Google Ads and SEO specialist advisor. He's honest and real. I don't know anyone else, Kim, that has this in their LinkedIn profile. That's so amazing. Honest and real. Let's get the real deal with Kim. He has 18 years of hard-earned experience in online marketing, and we're just delighted you're here today. Love to get to know you better and be able to hear some of the things that you share as an expert with your clients. So thanks for being here.
Oh, again, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Kim and I were just talking about how cool I think LinkedIn Live is. I know we're going live on Facebook too, so kudos to Facebook also. But we were just sharing how amazing the network is and how responsive they are, and just how much. So just a shout out to my LinkedIn network, and hopefully I want to invite you to meet Kim and reach out to Kim. So Kim, as we go to today to talk a little bit about Google Ads, about SEO. But one thing that comes to mind for me is we place a lot of importance, I think, on social media. Like I need to be on social media. I need to be on social media. But talk to us a little bit from your perspective and your expertise about like the difference between like Google Ads and social media and people's behavior. Because I don't think everyone really thinks this through.
It's true. I think, look, to be fair, I think there's what we call a multi-channel or multi-touch to conversion now. That it's a longer sales cycle if it's a discernible spend, especially in B2B environments. But the difference between social for me is behavior. So what I love about search engine marketing is that people are actually taking time out of the day to search for your product or service. So therefore their behavior tells me that they're closer to the buying point. They're either researching a purchasing decision or they're about to make a purchasing decision. Now, social media is awesome. There's massive, there's leverage in social media because of its targeting. I love the amount of data that comes in social media, but social media behavior is further away from the buying point. It's a bit of a shotgun approach. It's about consistency over time. And the longer that you do it, the more likely you are to get a return on investment on it and the quality of content that you're sharing in that consistency. But people's behavior, back to behavior, compared to search engine marketing, is that people are, they're with the hubby in front of the TV, they're a bit bored, or they're at lunch eating lunch, or they're a little bit bored at work, or they're on the train transporting their way to work, or whatever. They're looking for a bit of time out of their day, whatever, they got distracted. The behavior is not the same as search engine marketing. They're not taking time out of the day on purpose. They haven't made a decision to research or find a product or service. So they're flicking through, and you're hoping that consistency over time, when they actually have an immediate need and they're ready to make a decision, that your brand has supported that trust and that you're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 or 5 people they reach out to immediately to find that service provider or that product. And so there's a very different behavior that we're tapping into, and that's why I love search engine marketing, both pay-per-click and SEO. And what I love about pay-per-click is it's immediate. You're paying for the click. You're only paying if someone clicks on your ads, so you're not wasting any money. And if you're optimizing it right, it should be an immediate lead generator. And the longer you optimize it, the more data you have to optimize around lead generation or around revenue creation, the more that you'll get more revenue and more leads. And because we can research all the data, it's not like an eyes wide shut. It's total, transparency of the landscape around, we can research in your geographical area for your vertical, whatever that is, whatever product or service you provide. We can research the amount of searches that are available, the expected click-through rate, what the cost per click is, and we can estimate what your cost per lead is. So if we know a little bit about what you do, which is what you do, who a good client is, what a bad client is, and what you make and the margin you make, we can compare the cost per lead and the conversation with you. Out of every 3 leads, would you close someone? Out of every 5 leads, would you close someone? So, if you're a lawyer, for instance, we know that a family lawyer makes minimum $6,500 out of a job. A good client, a good wealth-based client will be 20,000 plus the will plus, the execution of the will on death. I mean, that's really big, good money, right? So we go, okay, $6,500 minimum. Now, if it costs me $150 to generate a lead for you and you need 10 leads to acquire a client, does that make good financial sense to you? $1,500 to acquire a client to make $6,500. And I look at it and you go, oh, we've got a 40% margin. That makes good sense to me. So they're the things I like to marry is the business need against the data. And then once, of course, all that's hypothetical. Once you get running, you can track all that to cost per lead, phone calls, emails, contact us forms. So that's the difference between social and pay-per-click and SEO. Now, SEO I love, but it takes time to get on the front page of Google for SEO. You need to earn the right to own the authority to be on the front page of Google, whereas Google Ads is immediate. But SEO I love because it has a higher trust factor. And it's going to support that longer sales cycle, bigger dollar value conversions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Wow. I don't think we think about this. We're always into what am I going to post on my social media? What am I going to post on my social media? And we need to look at this as the amazing option that it is and speak to someone like yourself that's an expert so that we can be informed and investing our time and money in the right things. So thank you so much for that. We are joined by Dr. Sabrina coming in from Japan. Dr. Sabrina, great to see you again today. I'm very excited to see you. So I have a question number 2 that I have for you, Kim, is what if business owners say, I just don't have a lot of time. What's a way that I could get a quick win?
Sure. Well, I get that question a lot. I don't have a lot of money, or I don't to invest, or I don't have a lot of time. For me, Google My Business is very relevant. Of course, it depends on the type of business you're in, but it's also quite limited in that, if you're looking for a plumber, it may not, turn up on the page. But if you're typing plumber Newport with a local geographical area, on the search string, or you're typing in plumber near me, or clear my block drain near me, or clear my block drain Newport, then you're going to have, when you turn up on the front of the page on a search engine, you'll have paid ads at the top. It'll be the top 3 or 4 listings, and directly underneath that, dominant on desktop and tablets, you'll find that is Google My Business. Top 4 positions usually are Google My Business rankings. So it's dominant on the page. If you look at it on mobile devices, Google My Business absolutely owns the page underneath paid advertising. So it's above the organic ranking, and it's relatively free. The things that you need to do for Google My Business to optimize are in the description section of your listing. You need to saturate as naturally as much as possible what you want to appear for. So if it's plumber Newport, you need to write plumber Newport or variations that through your descriptions and all your titles. The other thing you need to do is the images that you're uploading, you need to GPS tag them and alt tag them, because Google's bots can't read images. So it's another opportunity for you to tell Google what these images are around. So it's around plumber Newport and variations of that with a GPS tag that says that these images were taken in this specific area. The other thing that is necessary in tough verticals like real estate or insurance or finance, or most verticals are pretty tough now. There's a lot of people competing for that space, those eyeballs, the shelf space on Google. You need to be posting regularly. So like social media, but the difference with Google My Business is that your posts disappear after 7 days. So at least every 7 days, you need to be putting a fresh, engaging, informative piece of content. And then the real lever that shifts Google My Business ranking is reviews. And I love the reviews because they're third-party qualified reviews. So people trust the reviews. Whether you're in B2B or B2C or a product that you're selling, reviews actually build trust and encourage that entire sales cycle. And there are third-party qualified reviews, so most people trust them. And it also, when you're getting the reviews, you need to make it a part of your business process. Most people don't do this. You need to ask for the review. You need to send your initial email and then a follow-up email, because even if people intend to leave a review, they get distracted. It's on the bottom of their list. 2 weeks later, you send a follow-up request for review, and they go, oh, I've got to action that now. I'm going to forget about it. And so they do. You'll find uplift in that. And the more reviews that you get, the more likely you are to appear in those top 3 or 4 listings. But the big key is actually responding to the reviews. So when you get a good review, you say, hey, thanks for the review. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to my team. Google can see that you're interacting with your audience and that you care about your audience. They're going to reward you more authority again. And the other thing is, if you're getting bad reviews, you want to respond to the bad review. I've had big advertisers international clients actually not respond to reviews because they're too scared to. They don't know how to. And I'm like, well, how are you going to mitigate the power of a bad review? You get in there and you say, I'm really sorry you had that experience. Here's my direct details. Please contact me so we can resolve the issue. When people read the bad review, it's going to mitigate any power around that bad review. And also, if you've also got that business process around topping up good reviews on top of the bad reviews, they're by date of signing, so they're going to get pushed down the page. And again, you're going to mitigate the power of a bad review. And all of that work will get you, and that will direct lead generate. So I think Google My Business is where and there's plenty of guides on Google on how to optimize Google My Business.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I always say that hanging around my VT members, I become a better, smarter person. So I didn't even know any of that about Google My Business. So thank you so much. Ambreen is with us from Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Ambreen. Lachelle Atkins, one of our VT members, is here. Happy Monday to you, my dear. We have another question. You know what? Let's take this question. This is Anthony Pearl. He's one of our VT members. He's host of Better Biz, and his question, you ready, Kim, is what are your tips for optimizing SEO for video?
Oh, for video. Well, I mean, that's a very deep question, but it's probably not at the core of my experience, other than the fact that I know when we optimize video, that you need to put it onto a hosting service. You need to tag it correctly, like an image tag. You need to tag it, alt tag it, and GPS tag it. You also need to transcribe any of the language within the video so that it can be read by bots. So you want that to be readable, the content readable within the video. You also want to make it look like it's live streaming, even though it may not be live streaming. If you can make it look like it's live streaming, it'll be ranked further. And Google love it because they own YouTube and they know that people interact 8 times more with video than they do traditional text. So I love video. I think it's certainly placed in your strategy, and I would optimize it to longer tail keywords that have less search traffic but are closer to your buying point so that you can get those early wins from video. I hope that helps.
I hope it helps too. I'll introduce you just in case if you two would like to connect. That'd be awesome. My last question I have is if business owners are saying, how would I determine what do I do next when it comes to all of this? In your expertise, share more about that with us, would you?
It's look, here's the big question. You know, we're a small businesses, we're a small team. We're constantly testing and iterating what works and what doesn't for our lead generation. And it is really hard when you've got a limited amount of money and it's really important to your business. So I get that. Like I said, the things that I get excited about is putting my brand in front of people when they're ready to buy, when they're closest to the buying point. And of course, look, this is very different for each individual business, whether you're B2B, whether it's a long, complex sales cycle. You know, if you're selling a home, we know that selling a home is that you want to be in the last 5 choices in the brands that people are considering. And then it's just a process of elimination about whether you do what these people want within the homes you're building. So everybody's, you know, if you're a locksmith, an emergency locksmith, it's not a discernible spend, it's immediate need, and you want to be in front of that person when they have that need. So every business is quite unique. But for me, the reason I get excited about search engine advertising is if people are taking the time out of their day to look for your product or service, they're closest to the buying point. Now, it gets difficult in some verticals like SEO, for instance. I don't run Google Ads in SEO because the cost per click is $35 to $50 a click. And the quality of lead that comes out of that isn't awesome. So sometimes we run stuff based on the data and we need to look at marry that up around the lifetime value. And if you're looking at a service provider for Google Ads or SEO and you're not having those types of conversations, if they've commoditized the product they're selling to you so it's easy to digest, like, oh, spend $600 and we'll optimize to 5 keywords. And then you look at the 5 keywords, and if you did a bit of research, you'd understand that 3 out of the 5 are long tail keywords that don't have a lot of search value, are very low in value, and are not going to shift the needle around lead generation, but they're going to get your contract for $600 for 12 months and lock you in. And at the end of the 12 months, you're going to go, SEO doesn't work. So I'd be really cautious about people that aren't having those deeper conversations around what does a good client look like? What does a bad client look like? What do you make on your average sale? What's your margin on that sale? If you make X amount of money and we can deliver a cost per, you know, this is the search volume, This is the expected click-through rate. This is the benchmark for the cost per lead that we're aiming for. If we generate 5 leads and you convert 1 person, does that cost per acquisition match with what you make out of your acquisition of that client, out of your lifetime value? If you're not having those deeper conversations with people, run a mile. The other thing I'd also look at is Google Ads. If you can't log in and own admin on your Google Ads account, run a mile. Because a very common thing, the reason I left IBM 6 years ago is around this vacuum of authenticity and integrity in the industry. And it's very common for small and large agencies to actually take 30 to 50% margin on your media fee. So you think you're spending $1,000 in click-through every month with spending, Google Media, driving click-through to your site. The more click-through, the more conversion. It's only logical. And when you log into Google Ads in the AdWords section, you can see that it's estimating 500 out of your 1,000 is actually getting spent. So you spent, you've got $650 in management fee, $1,000 in media, and you're like, everything's going well. And then you look and actually another 500 is being taken out of the media fee. So in total, they're clawing $1,150 away every month, and only 500 is getting spent on your click-through. That's a problem. So if you can't own your Google Ads account and have direct access to those assets, I'd run a mile. They're the red flags I'd look for. Deep conversations that are logical and make sense to you and reduce risk, and the fact that you've got direct access and ownership of your assets.
You have thrown down more information here in the last 16 minutes than I've heard in a long time. And I'm just so delighted to introduce you to my network. Hello, we have a couple shout outs here. Brendan Kumarasamy, my favorite speaker coach out of Montreal. So good to see you. Atul is with us here from Kerala. So how are things in Kerala today? Hope they're awesome. It's a beautiful place. Kim, how do people get a hold of you? People who would love to connect. Do you offer any type of introductory consultation? Tell us how all this works. How do we connect with you, and how can people find out more?
Look, we're there to support business owners. Your success is our success. We actually invest quite a lot up front without being paid. So you can hit me up on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with you on LinkedIn and have the conversation and drive, a time to meet on LinkedIn. Look up Kim Wallis, Kim with a Y, Wallis with an IS, higher ranking, and or kim@higherranking.com.au is my email address, or call me on +61 422 515 771. What I will do from that is have an initial consultation with you for an hour, just a very relaxed chat around what you do, why you're awesome, what a good client looks like, what you make, all those sort of things around people's buying process to, what their buying path is to purchase or to engage with you. And then I'll go away and do research. I'll do a couple of hours research on your website, on your search traffic, on your, on very high level SEO kind of assessment of the site around technical site health. And then I'll come back and present that data to you so that you've got an eyes wide open around geographical area, where do you service, and then I'll use my 18 years of experience in industries across North America and Australia and the data to have that conversation with you, to give you an eyes wide open as to what the landscape is and what challenges you may be facing and what cost per lead to expect.
Excellent. Well, Kim, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today. I look forward to seeing our audience again for tomorrow's edition of Let's Talk Networking, where we will meet another one of my extraordinary virtual team members. If you're interested in an invitation to our global online referral community, please message me. I would love to invite you to a meeting that works well for your day and time. And everyone have a fantastic day at Virtual Team. I say let's cheer each other on and help each other grow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Kim. Thank you.